Please help me welcome Sam Rotman.
This guy should be my public relations agent. He knows a lot about me. So, I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I've been here probably 10 times or so. And I think they're going to try to broadcast this, do some things with that. So I'm going to play about an hour, share a little bit. So I'm going to play you a lot of music by one composer in particular named Rachmaninoff. Rachmaninoff is a Russian composer. His music has a lot of sadness to it, very melancholy, but very beautiful. And he had the biggest hands to ever play the piano. Now I have a pretty good sized hand. I can play 11 notes stretched, and he could play 15 notes. That's that big. That's a huge hand. So this is a piece he wrote. It's called the Corelli Variations. You'll hear this very beautiful melody and then these sets of variations. It's about 10, 11 minutes long, so these are the Corelli Variations by Rachmaninoff. Thank you, thank you. Wow, thank you, you're enthusiastic. Next I'll play you now 3 other pieces by him. The first, Rachmaninoff, the first is a Russian march. And at the end of this piece, you'll all speak Russian fluently. But it's a Russian march. You can, I think in Russian, I know some Russian words. Здравствуйте, спасибо, очень хорошо. So I know a little Russian. The second piece is slow, and it's very melancholy, so it's very typical of his music. It's melancholy. But the third piece is the most famous piece he ever wrote, called The Bells of Moscow, or the Prelude in C sharp minor. You're going to hear these 3 big gongs. If you know any piano music, you'll recognize this. It's the most famous piece that he ever wrote. So the 3 pieces, the march, the slow melancholy piece, and the bells of Moscow. Thank you. So now 3 more pieces. The first piece, again, is a Russian march, so it'll be similar. And the second piece is a special piece. It's slow, but also very bombastic. They once asked Rachmaninoff, what's one of his favorite pieces? Now, you know, you don't really ask a composer, what's your favorite piece? It's like, I have 3 children. It's like asking me, who's your favorite child? You know, a composer writes hundreds of pieces, and he doesn't want to pick what's his favorite, because then they'll think the others he didn't like it so much. So the second piece is the one that he thought he liked a lot. And the third piece is a Russian circus, so it's very energetic, very exciting. So the Russian march, the second piece is the piece that Rachmaninoff liked, and then the Russian circus. Thank you. Thank you. The next piece is a very beautiful piece by Rachmaninoff. It's called Vocalese. Very slow, but very rich and beautiful sounds. So this is the Vocalese, also by Rachmaninoff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just share a little bit about myself, and I'll play a final number. I started music through my mother. God bless all the mothers that tell their children to play an instrument. My mother was born in a country called Czechoslovakia, and she loved music, classical music. So when I was 6 years old, she took me to concerts, and I heard pianists and violinists. I was 6, 7, 8. When I was 9 years old, I started the piano. And when I was 11, I wanted to be a pianist. So I loved playing the piano. And I was not a prodigy. I would just practice hard. And I started practicing an hour a day, and 2 hours a day, and 3 hours a day, and 4 hours a day, and 5 hours a day, and 6 hours a day, and 7 hours a day, and 8 hours a day, and 9 hours a day. And when I was 17, I went to a famous music school called the Juilliard School, and there I practiced every day for 10 hours. Every day. I never missed one day. 10 hours a day. Not 9 hours and 45 minutes. And I can also say that I also won a big piano competition, made my debut when I was 16 with a famous orchestra. And there were 6,000 people at that concert. It was written up in a national magazine. And so then I was at Juilliard, practiced 10 hours a day, and look what it did to me. I put in all those notes, and all the hair went away. So, and then, as you heard, I was in a Beethoven competition. I was a winner in this international Beethoven competition in Vienna. So I have played in 60 different countries. You name a country, I've been there. In fact, I've been at a country that none of you have ever been to. Who wants to guess? A country none of you have ever been to. You want to guess? I don't hear. Siberia? I've played in Russia. So Siberia is part of Russia. So I've been to Russia. Actually, I was once invited to Siberia, but it didn't work out at the time. Afghanistan. I have not played in Afghanistan. But I have played in Cuba. Has anyone ever been to Cuba? You've been to Cuba? You've been, I thought, no, are you Cuban? No. I've been to Cuba twice. And you've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Cuba twice. And last time I was giving 11 concerts. I never knew of people going to Cuba. I thought it wasn't legal. That's why I went, because it wasn't legal. No. But I've played over 2,800 concerts. But I can tell you that music is not the most important thing in my life. I was raised in the Jewish faith. And my father and mother were very religious Jews. They were known as Orthodox Jews. The Orthodox are very strict. And they sent me, when I was growing up, they sent me to Hebrew school. Have you ever gone to Catholic school? How many of you have ever gone to Catholic school? Or catechism? How many of you have ever gone to Christian school, a Protestant school? Yeah. Well, I went to Jewish school. It was called Hebrew school. Isn't that a novel idea? And I went to Hebrew school and I learned Hebrew. Man nishanahai lahazeh mikol halelot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam elei Avraham. That's all Hebrew. That's not speaking in tongues. That's real language. And I went to Hebrew school 5 days a week for 8 years. And I was very religious and very moral on the outside and very immoral on the inside. I think you all know what I'm talking about. And when I was at Juilliard, I met 3 very devout Christians, and they challenged me to read the New Testament. I never read the New Testament. I never read a word. I had no idea what was in the New Testament. So I read the New Testament, and I met Jesus. And Jesus said he was the light of the world. Abraham never said he was the light of the world. And Jesus said he was the bread of life. Moses never said he was the bread of life. I was shocked at what Jesus said. And on May 21st, 1971, 45 years ago, I had hair. But on May 21st, 1971, I prayed to this Jesus. And I asked him, And I told him, my name is Sam Rotman, and Jesus, I want you to take over my life. My friend, it was the greatest moment of my life. I've been married 43 years. I have 3 wonderful children. I have 3 grandchildren. But the greatest thing I ever did in my life was giving my life to this Jesus. And I play the piano for him. He gave me the ears to hear the music and the fingers to play the music, the mind to learn the music. You know that Jesus has never missed one of my concerts. I know it sounds cute, but every time I give a concert, he's in the front row, and he says, Sam, I'm really looking forward to hearing you play for me tonight. My friend, it's a great thing to know who you're living for and a purpose in your life. I'm going to tell you, Jesus is not a religion. It's not a joke. It's not a political party. It's not some news. It's not a myth. It is a person who loves us and died for us and is alive for us. And the greatest thing you will ever do in your life is to ask this Jesus to take over your life. You'll never regret it. Never. So this last piece I'm going to play is by Tchaikovsky. This is a piece from the Nutcracker, and all these rippling sounds are harps playing throughout the piece. So this is the last piece. We'll end right at 7 o'clock, so you won't miss Jeopardy. Is Jeopardy on at 7 o'clock? 7. Oh, then I have another half hour. 7:30. My mother lived in Scottsdale for many years, and she loved Jeopardy. Oh, she loved Jeopardy. So it's 7:30, right? So this is the last piece by Tchaikovsky. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just mention, yes, thank you. There's a big fan of mine back there. She's really clapping hard. I've made some CDs. I've made some recordings. One is all Beethoven. That's my best recording. It was almost nominated for a Grammy in 2004, so it was all Beethoven. Another recording is 16 pieces by Debussy. The Debussy has Clair de Lune. Oh. You know what happens when you listen to the Clair de Lune? All the stress goes out of you. You'll be a puddle of water in the living room. And then my whole story of how I came to Christ is on a DVD and a CD. So they're $15. There's no tax. The autograph is free. So I'll be in the back. I always love coming to Glencroft. If you'd like to talk to me, thank you for coming. Don't miss Jeopardy. And thank you, and thanks be to God. God bless all of you.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Rotman, stop by and at least say hi before you leave. And by the way, I don't know if you noticed this or not. He didn't mention this. Absolutely no sheet music. From his memory, from his heart, and from his soul. It was excellent.